We have arrived at the semi-final stage in the desert at Indian Wells, and we have all of the four big players left in the draw. There's no Novak Djokovic, but on form, we have some of the very best. Daniil Medvedev and Sasha Zverev. Can they upset the Sinner Alcaraz final? These are my predictions. Right, let's get straight into it. And the semi-final stage is set at this ATP Masters 1000 event. And Carlos Alcaraz, the number one seed, will be playing Daniil Medvedev. And Jannik Sinner will be playing the number 4 seed in Alex Zverev. So the only big name really missing is Novak Djokovic. But I think you can argue that Daniil Medvedev right now is one of the most informed players on tour. He has been playing incredibly well. And he has come out and said that these faster conditions, the new balls they're using, is really suited to his game. And he expects that he's going to be playing at a higher level against Carlos Alcaraz, and that Alcaraz needs to be at his best in order to beat him. I think that makes it very interesting. Of course, this is a rematch of the 2023 and 2024 finals. Both fantastic tennis players. And really, I don't think you could have asked for a better semi-final matchup between these two, because even on the other side with Jannik Sinner and Zverev, it's another good matchup. But really, historically, the last few years, it has been dominated by Alcaraz and Sinner. I think the Sinner one even more so. You can see the head-to-head here. It's 6-4 for Sinner. But what is it? The last 5 times they've played, Jannik Sinner has won all of them. The last 2 being very convincing last year. So you got the ATP finals, it was 6-4 and 6-3. And then in Paris, the semi-final in the indoor hard court, 6-love, 6-1. So Jannik Sinner has been very formidable against Alex Zverev, and it's been really difficult for him to get much success. On the other side, let's see how it is. It is 6-2, so maybe even more one-sided. And the last 4 have gone in the way of Carlos Alcaraz winning all of them. Yet again, I think it's closer, but I don't think Daniil Medvedev really has been that same level we saw in the past from him. He's not been at his best these last 2 years. I think he's had some really crushing final defeats, which has impacted him mentally, and he's just not been producing his best tennis. I think tactically he's got it wrong in some big matchups. However, it does seem like the stars are aligning right now, and he's playing so much better. I mean, he's a different guy in 2026. I'm really confident that he can make the top 10 and finish there come the end of the year, because the way he's playing at the moment is exactly what he used to be like on the hard courts. He won Dubai, beating some good players along the way. And now in Indian Wells, he's not dropped a set and just defeated Jack Draper, the guy who won this tournament last year. I know Jack Draper's coming back from injury, so you kind of expect him not to have an amazing run, but he did just beat Djokovic, bearing in mind. And Draper, I still think, even though he's not fully fit right now and not back to his match fitness, he is a really top player and producing a top 10 level performance already, in my eyes anyway. So going back to these semi-finals, let's go through some of the tweets, and we'll go to Carlos Alcaraz first, because since losing to David Goffin in Miami 2025, the second round, he has 72 wins, 5 losses, 9 titles, 11 finals, and 12 semi-finals versus Medvedev on Saturday. So that'll be the next one, so the 12th one. And it is just sublime, really, these numbers. I think the most impressive is the fact that he's only had 5 losses since Miami of 25. He rarely loses to anyone aside from Jannik Sinner. There was a period where, before this David Goffin one, there was quite a few losses we saw from him, uncharacteristic ones. But he seems to have just shut up shop with it. And right now, even if he drops a set, I think it was, Rinderknecht, he comes back and you never really feel like he's going to lose out too much or lose the match. He can drop a set, but I'm not concerned he'll lose the match, if you know what I mean. And that's why he's so far ahead in the top 10. I mean, 13,000 points. He's matched where he got last year, getting to the semi-final. So if he can win the semi-final, he would have gained points at Indian Wells. Yannick Sinner's just gaining all points right now. So we're just going to, I think, with Yannick Sinner playing a full tour, hopefully without any injuries, Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz continuing at this same level, I think we're just going to see like a ridiculous points total for them both, with nobody really close in third. I mean, it's like that now. Djokovic is half of the points of a Yannick Sinner. And I think it could even be a bigger gap. Definitely. I feel like we're going to be looking at like a 7,000 point gap minimum very soon, with nobody close to these big two. And I guess that leads on nicely to this. So making history in the desert at 22 years, 303 days old, Carlos Alcaraz becomes the youngest player to reach 5 consecutive semi-finals at a single ATP Masters 1000, surpassing Rafael Nadal, who was the young king of Masters tournaments, who was 22 years, 313 days when he achieved the feat in Monte Carlo. So he's doing exactly what Rafael Nadal was doing, which nobody thought would be possible ever again. And he's doing it even better. So, yeah, the Grand Slams are stacking up. The Masters victories are stacking up. It is something just to admire and really, I think, just savor and enjoy, because what Carlos is doing now, numbers-wise, is on track to potentially beat all records. The difference is to do it for longevity. I mean, Djokovic, almost 39 years old, is not easy. And there's no guarantees Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner will do that. But the way they're going right now, it's not bad at all. And if they do continue at this level, they will probably surpass Novak Djokovic, which is insane statistically, because the numbers he's put up is just not normal. Let's go back to the semi-finals so I can give some of my thoughts. We spoke about the head-to-head on both of these matches, and I think really Daniel Medvedev and Zverev are the two best opponents right now, maybe, for these guys. The only thing you can say about Zverev is, as much as on paper he is one of the best players in the world, probably the 4th best player in the world, maybe some could say 3rd, but he is just right there on the fringes. It doesn't seem to translate when he plays an Alcaraz or a Sinner. He is just there, but when he plays them, tactically, he is so far off it. We see him playing so much more reserved. And that's why you look at these likes of like your Fonsecas, your Tiens, your Mensik, and it's better to watch them guys play against an Alcaraz and a Sinner, because there's that jeopardy there, as opposed to a Zverev. However, a Zverev versus a Tien or Fonseca, I'd fancy Zverev to beat them. So tennis maths, of course, it doesn't make sense. But that's just, I'm sure most people would agree with what I've said. I don't think it's too crazy either. In terms of predictions, we'll start with this one since I've just been speaking about it. And I think it is just the mental block tactically for Zverev. I don't see it changing. And I'm going to be predicting a Yannick Sinner victory in straight sets. We could get some close sets. Maybe both are going to be tight. Or they could be one-sided. It's really tough to know, but because Zverev and he's a difficult player to speak about sometimes. I'm going to be going for the closer sets though, and I'm going to have like a 7-5, 6-4 Yannick Sinner straight set victory. On the other one, I feel like this is a tougher one to pick. The bookmakers have this one at slightly shorter odds, and I would longer odds, and I would agree with that, because Carlos Alcaraz and Daniel Medvedev right now is closer than Sinner Zverev. I think Medvedev, he's already said how he's enjoying the conditions. We've seen that translating on the court with some of his performances. He's not dropping many serves. He is very good on the return of serve too. And I think this one is going to be a 3-set match. I don't see Carlos Alcaraz, as much as how dominant he's been, and I'm highlighting how great he is, I think this could be slightly tougher. And I think Daniel is good value for at least a set. But I'm not going for anything other than what I said before a ball was hit, and that is Carlos Alcaraz will be playing Yannick Sinner in the final here at Indian Wells. I want to see that final. Most people do. I think it will be really interesting. I'm still favouring Carlos Alcaraz to win the whole thing if we get there. But Alcaraz right now has a harder semi-final matchup. And I think Daniel Medvedev could really push him. It's going to be 3 sets and Carlos to win in 3. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Do you agree with my predictions? Do you agree with my assessment of how I think it's going to happen? And are we going to be getting a Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner final at Indian Wells? I don't think we've ever had one of them at Indian Wells, so that should be great. And well, I'll have to give my prediction if we get that later on, because I need to see how they get on in the semi-finals and if it happens. But that is my thoughts for the video. There we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying Indian Wells. On the women's, we have Sabalenka, Rybakina, which is great for me and Ben because I predicted Rybakina, Ben predicted Sabalenka. We'll give some thoughts on that at some point too. And on the men's, it's going to plan too. Ben's got Yannick Sinner. I've got Carlos Alcaraz. Let's wait and see what happens. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.